You are now tuned in to the network, the YouTube channel that takes complex networking topics and dumbs them down to more simpler terms, more layman terms. Today's topic is section 6.1c, Tftp. This is a topic in the CCNP route exam. It will be known as the CCNP enterprise exam. Let's go ahead and take a look at the exam blueprint and see where we came from and where we are headed. Hashtag labeveryday. Y'all go ahead and visit labeveryday.com and maybe soon in the future, NetworkBruh.com. Okay, so this is the exam blueprint, implementing Cisco IP routing, exam code 300-101. It will be known as exam code 300-401 after February 23rd, 2020. We just wrapped up the section 6.1b. We chopped this up in two videos because there was just so many protocols they wanted us to go over. And yes, we labbed each one of them up. Today, we are going to do Tftp. After that, we're going to move on to configuring and verifying CCNP. So Tftp, what is that? Tftp is similar to what we did in this video. Secure copy. That's another way. It's a networking protocol. Well, Tftp is a network protocol that we use to transfer files from one device to another. Well, you might ask yourself, well, what's the difference? Well, it uses different port numbers. It is a simpler version of FTP because that's what it stands for. Trivial, which is like trivial, like don't really have any real significance, I guess. And FTP, which stands for File Transfer Protocol. It is what it is. It transfers protocols. There's so many different file transfer protocols, though, right? Because SCP is one, TFTP is one, FTP is one. There's also SFTP. But for this exam, they only wanted us to cover TFTP. So let's head over to the slides for the official definition. Well, before we even do that, let's cover what FTP is, right? Because we need to. It's kind of like we need to know our history, know where we came from, to know where we are going, right? So FTP stands for File Transfer Protocol. It is used to transfer files between hosts and or servers. Just like I said, by design, it is insecure and thus susceptible to interception. So it's kind of like what Telnet is to SSH. Not secure. You're leaving your door wide open and letting people see what you're transferring, right? We don't want that. Do not use FTP if you are wary of your data being possibly seen by third parties. Oh, also shout out to Engineer Khan because he has an article. You go ahead and click that link or see that link right there at the bottom, and you'll be able to see the differences between FTP, TFTP, SFTP, and SCP, which are all pretty much file transfer protocols. FTP just happens to be TCP. It uses TCP port number 21 to establish connections. And this is a simple, real simple configuration on configuring FTP. You just create a username, a password, and then you're copying or running a config to your FTP server, right? Remember, when we're doing the copy command, it's copy and then from to. That's the basic syntax for all of these protocols, right? Copy and then from to. So if you're copying from the FTP to your, like, say, your startup config or your running config, or vice versa, you put what you're copying from and then to. I don't know. I'm going to say that over and over until I beat that in y'all head. So TFTP, what we're covering today, TFTP stands for Trivial File Transfer Protocol. As the name implies, it is a simpler version of FTP. Here's why. TFTP does not require authentication, so we really don't need a username and password like FTP does. While it may be handy over LAN, it's hard to see why it's not desirable if you have unknown parties involved. So that means anybody can pretty much transfer stuff to and from your TFTP server because they don't have any authentication. They just log on there, get what they need to, right? You might want to do this if you just want to share, like sometimes what I do with my files or with my GNS3 labs. You know, I upload them to my Google Drive and I share it with y'all. And if I'm not mistaken or not, Google Drive may be a form of TFTP, right? Because you're sharing files and you're transferring files via it, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. If y'all know the answer to that, please put it in the comments below. Anyways, it uses port UDP, port 69, right? Where TFTP uses TCP, port 21, right? So TFTP is TCP, port 21. TFTP is UDP, port 69, meaning it is sent less reliable. So, right? If you get it, oh well. If you don't get it, oh well. That's the thing about it. The configure it is real easy. TFTP server and then flash. This is from and then to right here. From TFTP to your flash. Again, shout out to engineercon.com for simplifying this stuff for me. You know, I started to give y'all the wiki definition, but it was just, y'all know I like to keep stuff in simple layman's terms. Here's the difference, a couple more differences in a in a chart. If you want to pause it, freeze frame it, I'll go over this real quickly. Again, TCP uses port 20 and 21 rather. One is for control, one is for data. I believe I gave y'all a pop quiz on that in a couple videos back. Again, TFTP uses UDP port 69. This is a transport layer protocol. This is UDP, which means one requires the connection, the other one doesn't. It just sends it. It's meaning it's unreliable. It just sends the information. If you get it, oh well. If you don't, oh well. It just sends it. That's what UDP does. FTP uses robust control commands, so you have a lot more you can do with FTP. TFTP uses simple control commands. Here's the RFC documents. This other stuff is not that too important. I guess if you want to memorize a couple more facts, I doubt you'll probably get one question on this. But then again, that one question could be the fine line between pass and failure on these exams, right? Today we're gonna do a little simple lab. You know, we're gonna throw it back to packet tracer. Yes, you're probably wondering, packet tracer for the CCNP exam, man? You better give me something harder than this, right? Well, look at this. I did a search. Y'all know what this is, right? Shout out to Kevin Wallace and Wendell Odom for the official cert guide, right? You can get this for pretty much all levels of the Cisco exams, right? This is the Cisco, it's like the official guide for the CCNP exam, right? We do a control F and look for TFTP in this book, right? We go next and you'll see, oh, we've got 7 searches here, right? Or 7 responses here. Well, this just shows a ping command between client and TFTP. Okay, well, we got something about TFTP in here, right? Let's see. No, just talks about the TFTP server in there. They don't even give us a definition. In short, they don't even give us a definition of TFTP. So you may or may not even get, you may or may not get tested on this, but nonetheless, they did put it on there. You want to at least have the knowledge of what TFTP does. Basically, this is the most common use for it. It's backups and restoring your stuff. How is it configured to backup? For backup. So you want to back up your running configs or your startup configs to your TFTP server. And that's what we're going to do in a packet tracer lab. There's also a GNS3 lab. This GNS3 lab we may or may not do. It just depends on how long this video goes. So we're just going to keep it simple and do the packet tracer lab first. All right, so here's the lab we're going to be working with today. We've got router 1 and router 2 sitting in this local area network, and they're sitting behind switch 1, and there's the TFTP server. Real simple lab. I'm pretty sure if you've done these labs in CCNA, this is what I meant by fine line between CCNA and CCNP. So it falls under both exams, but you know, this is just one of those topics. So, and I just felt like, you know, I miss packet tracer. I love packet tracer. So anyways, part 1 says we want to upgrade an iOS image on a Cisco device. So we're going to upgrade, I believe, router 1. And in part 2, we're going to back up our image to a TFTP server. So we're going to back up an image to the TFTP server, right? So scenario, a TFTP server can help manage the storage of iOS images and revisions to iOS images. For any network, it is good practice to keep a backup copy of the Cisco iOS software image in case the system image in the router becomes corrupted or accidentally erased. How many times has that happened in the real life production environment? I've seen that happen. Now, by the way, I'm not a network engineer. I work in a network operations center, so I'm aspiring to be a network engineer. But I work with a lot of network engineers, and boy, the TFTP server has come in handy. Anyways, a TFTP server can also be used to store new upgrades to the iOS and then deploy throughout the network where it is needed. In this activity, you will upgrade the iOS. We're just going to upgrade iOS. Let's just get to it. Access the TFTP server and enable the TFTP service. Where's that guy? He's right here. We're going to go to TFTP service. By the way, this is just a simulator, right? We're just simulating. It's not going to always be like this in a real life environment. So we go to the services, TFTP. Right now it is off. We're turning it on. It's not always going to be that simple. All right, so we turned on the TFTP services. Note the iOS images that are available on the TFTP server. Let's do that. We're going to go back to the TFTP server, look at TFTP, and here are the images we have, right? We got a whole bunch of images for different routers, right? We have 2960 switch, 2600 router, 1900 router. Next question says, which images, iOS images, are stored on the server that are compatible 1841? Well, if you know the naming convention for these iOS images, you know that the model is usually up front. Then it tells you which type of iOS images, and then the version number, and then the file type, which normally ends in bin. But anyways, for 1841s, we have these guys right here. This one, and that one. Those 3 right there, right? From router 1, we're going to go to router 1. There's router 1 right there. Here's the 1841 if you haven't seen it before. That's the back of it. As a matter of fact, I got one of these. Oh, in the last video, I kept saying 1941 router. That's actually a 1921 router. We're going to go into the CLI, and he says here, issue the show flash command and record the available flash memory. This is what we have on our flash, right? So we're going to show flash, and here's what we have in the memory. We have this base image right here. We have these XML images. I'm not too sure what those are. That's y'all pop quiz for today. What are those XML images? I notice I give y'all pop quizzes when I don't really know what something means. Anyway, copy and record the available flash memory. We have this much flash available. So keep note of that. There's been times I remember we went through a change and a network engineer tried to upgrade an image, but he didn't put in the change how much space he had available in the flash. So take note of what's available in the flash before doing a change, right? Anyway, copy the IP base with strong encryption iOS image, which is IP base K9. They even gave us the answers in this, so this is a little too easy. For the 1841 router, from the TFTP server to router 1. So basically, we're going to copy the IP K9 IP base image from TFTP to router 1. So we're going to go to TFTP. We're going to actually see which one those are. There's the 1841 images. This is advanced IP services. This is IP base, and this is IP base K9. When you see K9, that's basically the security version, the encryption version. So that's the one they want us to copy. We are going to go back to router 1, and we're going to go to user privileged exec mode by going to enable. We're going to say copy TFTP, right, from TFTP to the flash, right? That's what we're doing here. That's the basic syntax for pretty much all those file transfer protocols. And then you press enter, and it's going to give you a wizard, just like SCP, just like what we did in the last video, right? What's the address or name of the remote host? Well, the remote host is the TFTP server. What's that guy? 192.168.2.254, right? So 192.168.2.254. Now he's asking, what's the source file name? And I don't want to fudge up the typing here. So what I'm going to do is just scroll down some, copy that bad boy. This bad boy right here. I don't want to mess up the typing. It'll be that easy normally if in a real environment. So the source file name is, we're going to paste that bad boy under there. Enter. And he's asking the destination file name. Do you want to keep it the same? So when you copy it from the TFTP server to router 1, do you want to keep the file name as this? We're going to say yes by just pressing enter, right? Accessing the TFTP server at that address, and it's now copying the file from the TFTP to router 1. And it looks like this many was copied in 3.7 seconds. That's pretty quick, right? It may or may not take that quick on a real environment, but it copied it for us nonetheless. Verify that the iOS image has been copied to flash. How many images are located on the flash? So we're going to verify that with show flash. How many images we got? We've got this image right here at the top. We have the second one image right here, right? This is step by step, I know, but you know, this is just to get the concept of TFTP going here, right? I know this is the CCNP exam. We may or may not do the GNS3 lab in this video, or I may just do a separate video. Who knows? Verify. Okay, we did that. How many images are stored? We've got 2 stored on here. Use the boot system command to load the IP base image on the next reload. So we're going to do the IP base K9 with this right here. So I don't want to mess up the typing here. That's the reason why I'm doing that. So we're going to say boot. I guess we got to go to global config mode for that. Boot. All right, what's your options here? System. Well, this is a simulator, so they don't really give you much options to do here. You want to boot from flash memory or TFTP? Well, think about it. Well, we have the image on our router, so we're booting it from the flash. You would think it would be from TFTP. No, we already got the image from TFTP. We can't boot from there. Well, we could if we really wanted to, but we're going to boot from the flash. So flash, let's go ahead and paste the name of the IP image, which is that. Press enter, and then the next step there, it says he wants us to save the configuration and reload. So we're going to exit out of this. Save is copy, run, start. We're copying the run config to the start config. We press enter. Do you want the startup name to be startup config? Yes, we'll leave that as is. Save the config and reload. So we did that. We'll go ahead and reload. Press enter. Do you want to reload? Pre-boot. Just press enter and confirm. And right now it's going to boot it should boot the new image. New image was 124.12, right? 124.12. What was the image that we had on here when we first booted this thing up? 12.3.14, right? It looks like we're downgrading is what it looks like we're doing here. But anyways, let's take a look at that. We booted it up again, show version, and we went to 12.4.12. So we did kind of upgrade. I guess we did upgrade there. We had 12.3, we got 12.4. So we upgraded that bad boy, right? Verify that it's up. We did that, right? We did enable. I'll show y'all again. Show version is that command. That's a simple one. These are CCNA fundamentals, but again, they have it on this exam. Anyway, we verified it. Upgrading the iOS image on a switch. So we're going to do the same thing, but on the switch this time. Access the Tftp server and copy the 2960 LAN-based image to switch 1. So we're going to do the same thing. Enable or go to the switch. Here's a view of that switch. If you haven't seen these before, I'm pretty sure you've seen them before. That's what a 2960 looks like. I wish GNS3 would do that, but they don't. Let's go into the CLI whenever this thing would stop tripping. Sorry for spazzing out on that, y'all. They want us to, what do they want us to do again? Copy. Jesus, come on. Wake up, man. Enable. They want us to copy the 2960 LAN base image to switch 1. So we're going to copy this bad boy. We said copy what? From the TFTP server to flash. We're going to paste the name there. Remember, from to is the syntax. Oh, what do we forget here? Copy flash that. Copy TFTP from to flash this. Let's verify what else we needed there. TFTP flash. Oh, that's what it was. You got to just press enter there. Duh. Enter the address of the TFTP server. So I believe it's 192.168.2.254. The source file name, now we can paste that bad boy in. That's the name of the file we're going to download. Do you want to keep it the same? Here, let me widen this for y'all to see. Yes, we want to keep it the same. Come on, fam. I'm sorry for making this thing spazzing out. No such name. Interesting. And we had an error here. Let's do that again. Copy TFTP to flash. What's the address? 192.168.2.254. The source file name was, let's go back and make sure we have the correct file name here. We said the 2960 LAN base 1225 fx.bin image. That guy right there. We got to make sure you don't get no spaces or none like that. Don't get no spaces. Copy that bad boy, right? Go back to the switch. The source file name is this. Press enter. Destination file name, you want to keep it the same? Yes. And there, it got copied. So we probably copied a space. That's what happened there. So we copied the image, copied in 0.1. Look how quick that was, right? Too bad. It ain't going to be like that in production network. Did we copy the file? Yes. Now we have two images right here, right? We've got 12.25 and 12.25 SEE1, right? FX1 is what this is the one we're trying to upgrade to. First image is showed here as loaded by default. Reload switch 1 and verify the new has been loaded to memory. We're going to reload switch 1. Let's go ahead and reload switch 1. You want to confirm? Yes. It's rebooting. Notice we've got 60 out of 90 on this lab. We're almost done here, y'all. Okay, we've got the file copied on here. Let's verify it's been loaded onto here. How we do that? We do a show version. Oh man, they tripping. I should have. Y'all know what command to get rid of that, right? That's y'all pop quiz. This is really y'all pop quiz for today. I believe we did this in maybe 2 videos back. What is the command that's going to allow us to stop this from happening right here? This problem right here. I'm really going to go over the whole song, ain't I? Let's close that bad boy, relaunch it, it's still there. Reload the switch and make sure it's been loaded into memory. But while that's going, let's go ahead and there it goes right there. There it goes, finally. We're going to know neighbor mode, show version, and see which one we've loaded up onto this switch. The FX version. That's the new one we've just loaded up right there. FX. Okay, perfect. On router 2, go to router 2, display the contents of the flash and record the iOS image. So we're going to go to router 2. This looks like a 1900 series router. I don't know what's been going on with this packet tracer. I'm sorry. It's been wigging out on me over here. Enable, show, flash. See what we got here. We've got the universal K9 image. And that's it. We've got just that image. Use the copy command to back up the iOS in flash memory to a TFTP server. So we're going to copy from what? Flash to what? TFTP, right? From to. So let's go ahead and copy copy from flash. What are we going to copy from flash? This guy right here. Let's go ahead and copy that image. Name. Oh, my bad. Copy flash to TFTP, right? Same thing. Wizard here. I always forget. You can just press enter and it'll give you the wizard. What's the destination? We're going to take our image and dump it onto the TFTP server. So we're going to take the image from router 2, dump it to the TFTP server as a backup, just in case we need it. The TFTP server is 192.168.2.254. Address of the, he said, what's the file name? Duh. These were answered wrong. Let's do that over again. Let's get out of this. The source file name. Now we can put the file name here. 1900, right? And then the address was 192.168.2.254. The destination file name, we'll keep that the same. Writing no such file or in the directory. Interesting. What do we do wrong here? Let's make sure we copied the right file name. C. We forgot the C. See? Notice the destination file name was 19. We forgot the C. So let's do it over again. You got to be careful with these typos here. This is why I didn't want to type it. I wanted to copy it. Source file name again, paste, but we're going to put a C in front of it this time. I'll make sure I don't edit that out so y'all can see how meticulous, how you got to really be careful with this. The address of the remote host, the address of the TFTP server, 192.168.2.254. Destination file name, we'll keep that as the same. Writing the image, now it looks like it's working. And it's copied the file in 4.2 seconds. How quick was that, right? And it looks like we got a 100%. Check results, and we're good. Congratulations, you successfully completed. That is all I got for y'all today. I don't think we're going to do the GNS3 lab today. We'll just go ahead and skip that for now. Maybe we'll do it tomorrow and maybe add it just as a complimentary video or supplementary video to this section or this topic, right? Anyways, that's my YouTube page. That is my Twitter handle. If I didn't fumble so much on it, I would have probably done it. Yeah, go ahead, add me on Twitter. Please leave some comments below. Share this video. Hit the like button. For now, comment, like, subscribe to the network.